Parents of Reddit. What is the best weird flex but okay moment you've seen from your child? My son was in the tub and asked exactly how old he was. Me, I'm about 4 years, 10 months, and 4 days. After a few moments of deep thought, I heard him say quietly and reverently to himself, "And I haven't been bit by a single wild animal." Oh man. Still kills me. My 8-year-old son's doctor was trying to make him comfortable during an EKG by telling him he had to leave his ear with the doctor. They went back and forth for a while and finally the doctor said he would trade him the ear for a lollipop. My son said he would not give up his ear but wanted the lollipop. The doctor said, "What? That is not a fair trade. What will you give me for the lollipop?" My son answered dead serious, "I get the lollipop and you get my respect." My little boy is extremely proud of his ability to get the automatic soap foam dispenser to form a shaped form on his hand. He should be proud. That takes a tremendous amount of skill to do. My son, for at the time, was, I guess, trying to impress the 6-year-old neighbor girl. He leaned casually on his arm and said, "I have lots of accidents. Pee and poop accidents. I hope for his sake his pickup lines improve. So I heard you're into bad boys." My 3.5-year-old outside the other day, he was stabbing the ground with a stick. I asked, "What you're up to, buddy?" "I'm digging holes for the ants to climb into." "That's so sweet of me, Mom." He's a nut. I like that he knows his worth and practices positive self-talk. My toddler just threw her dinner on the floor, started clapping, yelled "hoo-ah-wah-ah-ai-ai-ai" as loudly as her little lungs could possibly allow, then looked right at me holding up her palm for a high five. Now that's a weird flex right there. I ran around telling everyone I was the most beautiful girl in the world. I even told my mom's friend that Shirley Temple was almost as cute as me. Used up all my confidence at 3. My daughter, age 2, regularly comes up to me and puts the back of her head in my face. "See my hair?" "Yes, honey, I do. It's beautiful." Runs off. When my son was 5, a waitress at Applebee's asked him how old he was, to which he exclaimed, "I'm 5 and I pooped today." I think everyone within 4 tables of us was very impressed. My dad took my daughter out to eat once when she was 2 and the server asked if she was ready for ice cream and she said no. "I have a poop coming." He just said, "Well, more room for ice cream then." Which I think was pretty dope for someone being paid basically nothing to work at Applebee's. My son let out a high-pitched screech while playing a video game. Told him, "Dude, knock it off." A few seconds later I heard him whisper, "It's my battle cry." My 5-year-old son woke up with his voice hoarse from a cold. Me, "Oh, you've got a cold." Him, solemnly, "No. I think I'm a man now." My 4-year-old son kept peeing on the toilet seat because he wouldn't hold his pee-pee. I told him he had to start holding it and his response was, "I can't hold it because it's too big." What a Chad. Tonight my 3-year-old stopped midway up the stairs and turned slowly to me and said, "Mom, earlier, while you were out, I put on my pants all by myself." I have no idea why he emphasized every word, but then he smirked and turned and kept climbing the stairs. Big day. The kid is really going places. Yeah, he is going up the stairs. My wife brought my 3-year-old son to my job site, since he really wanted to drive the excavator. So my uncle, who operates the excavator, lets him dig some holes and play around while sitting on my uncle's lap. He then comes up to me and says, "Daddy, I want to drive the excavator with you." I told him I don't know how to. "You have to go with your uncle." His reply, "It's okay daddy, I'll teach you," with the biggest smirk on his face. When my son was potty training, I started letting him do the cleanup. Then I'd have to finish. After a bit of this, he figured he was pretty well good to go on his own. And he was very big boy about it. So for the next couple of weeks, he'd do his thing, which always included stripping naked, then come running out to wherever I was, bend over with his cheeks spread, and shout, "Hey, Mom." I wiped my butt all by myself. Look it. Mine can't do this, so she comes out and bends over with her covered ass in the air ready for me to wipe. When my sister was younger, she told her teacher that my dad was a clown. He actually owns an auto body shop, but I guess she thought he was a pretty funny. Apparently the parent-teacher conference was hilarious. Your daughter tells us you're a clown? What an interesting career. My friend's mom would say gotta fly. Every morning when she dropped my friend off at daycare, I decided, quite logically, that she was a pilot. Absolutely nothing my parents told me would change my mind. She worked in a print shop. There are lots of members of our family tree, and I'm probably the prettiest one. Don't you think? My daughter, to me, age 7. She is an identical twin. So kind of a weird flex. Katie, you have to eat 3 more green beans before you're excused. No. No more. 3 more. I'm gonna eat 4 more. Oh no, you got me good. My son is good with this. Me. Okay mate. 5 minutes till you have to hop out of the bath. Son. No. 3 minutes. Righto. Not my child, but a friend's 7-year-old. We were talking about golf and he told me that he can drive the ball 1000 plus yards, but we can't see it because the simulator glitches whenever he does it. My 6-year-old son recently put his foot down, letting me know it was not okay for me to tell him what he could wear or not because he is allowed to have his own fashion. Okay. Fine. Shorts, sandals and 1 black sock it is. I contemplated having a button made that said I dressed myself today, for my children to proudly wear. Them not realizing it was mostly so other adults would stop judging me for my kids' fashion choices. I was playing cops and robbers with my son and my niece, both about 3 at the time. They put me in the jail, the sofa, and proceeded to walk out of the room. As she's exiting, my niece turns to me with a deadpan face and goes, "Watch your back." Then just leaves. I would take her advice. It's good jail advice. I was throwing my nieces in the pool and the 4-year-old grabbed a pool noodle and looked right at me to say, "Today, you're gonna get hurt. You're gonna have a bad time. You should be worried for her future." My 10-month-old son hates being changed. Recently he figured out that if he grabs his balls in a death grip with one of his hands, it makes it impossible to get the diaper on him. I die a little inside every time he does this. If you haven't already tried it, warming up the wipes will sometimes stop diaper changing hatred. I remember being about 6-8 and bragging to multiple strangers about how my older, red-headed and white sister, for context I was a little brown-haired, brown-eyed, brown-skinned child, was my full-blooded sister but had a different last name because I thought it was a cool fun fact about my family. Turns out she was a half-sibling and nobody told me until I was older. Well, it is genetically possible if that makes you feel better. When my daughter was I think 8, we were in the pool throwing a beach ball around. I tossed it to her. She catches it then says to me, "Is that all you've got, old man?" Lol. That's when you effing spike it as hard as you can at her little face. Not a parent, but as a kid, I apparently drank vinegar straight. My brother would do this. We had to hide the vinegar from him and all the salt because he would eat raw salt. Not my kid, but a friend of mine was trying to teach his daughter to pick up her toys when she was younger. When she didn't do it one time, he told her he was going to throw away everything that was still on the floor. She picked them up and put them in the trash can for him. My kid did that. It's a damn power move. My son did the something similar. When he was being punished, my wife took everything, every toy, out of his room with him screaming and protesting the entire while. When she was done, he had the effing temerity to say, "You forgot my books." Either my wife was going to stroke out. Had an Amber Alert hit my phone one night while my then 6-year-old was playing a game on it. She asks what that was and I explained it's a message that gets sent out if a kid gets kidnapped. She looks at it again and sees it's for a town over 2 hours from where we live. She then asks me why they sent to if it's so far away. I said because they want everyone to look and find the kid. Wouldn't you want everyone to look if you got kidnapped? They want to find the kid so they don't get killed. She leans over close to my ear and whispers I'm very difficult to kill. Not a parent. But I teach swimming lessons. This one 5-year-old first day of lessons was like, I'm not very good at kicking. So I said, that's okay. Nobody is perfect at everything. Dead serious, he just goes, no. I'm perfect at everything. Except kicking. When I was 6, my absent father came back into my life briefly and I paraded him around all of my friends bragging saying this is my dad. I bet you thought I didn't have a dad. But I did. He was gone again within a month. LMAO. Kids really want a dad, don't they? Capital F. I am the child here. But when I was maybe 3 or 4, I took a dump that was green, which was quite exciting to me at the time. I went and told my mom. I just had a poop that was green. And she just told me next time make me a blue one. The rare reversed flex. Mom goals. Sassy niece after first day in school. I learned how to count to 11 today. I bet you can't. Weird flex, but wait. I indeed cannot count to 11. 11 is a fancy way of saying 110. I'm 11 years older than my little brother, and when he was 4 he went around the entire neighborhood and wrote his name on everyone's garage doors in really big letters with a permanent marker. I just said oh no out loud. I can't imagine being the parent apologizing to the whole street. My 10-year-old son bragged the other day that his hair looked like Martin Freeman's. What the F? When my brother was 2 or 3 he rolled down the car window to get the attention of the gas station attendant and shouted, hey mister, I got a PP. He had a mullet. If that helps paint a better picture. I am a tutor. And a while back I had a 10-year-old student who said he had just learned the cool kid's way to write a 7. Good for you, little dude. My nephew is 4 and thinks he's cooler than everyone else because he can tuck in his shirt by himself. For a 4-year-old. That's impressive. I know some middle schoolers who can't do that. My son, 4-5, walked into the kitchen and said to my wife, give me my usual, but put it in a real glass. She's like, what? Your milk? It was then we realized we had to rein in the iPad and curse of Monkey Island. While babysitting my cousin, she got really close to me and smelled like rotten eggs. So I asked her if she farted and she immediately replied no. That's my brief. At least she's self-aware. Your story reminded me of the time my niece had an audible fart and I asked her if she farted and she replied no. It smells like Fraud Up sniffs the air a few times a year. Someone Fraud Up. Not a parent, but when I was little I had a child therapist and I told her very happily and even in a bragging tone that I was only 8 years old and I already had a training bra, and I remember her just looking at me for a while and going okay. Jesus Christ, y'all, I was 8 and happy that I got a High School Musical training bra because I felt like a big kid and I like the pretty colors. You guys are harsh. Just a couple days ago, my 2-year-old son woke up, so I went to change him. I pulled his jammy pants off, then went to undo the diaper, and the whole time he has this look on his face like he's waiting for something. I pull the diaper off the front of him and bobbing, he's got a boner. He even smiled big and threw his arms up at the moment of reveal. Like GADAAAA. When I wasn't appropriately amazed and merely continued with changing him. He pointed at it and said, loudly and forcefully, that's mine. Yes, my dear. That is your PP. Congratulations. I'm definitely gonna try this move tonight. My wife will be thrilled. My son was watching me cut down a very small tree, like 6 inches across, very small. And the following occurred. Son, wow. I've never seen someone cut down a tree that big before. Me, well, I mean, you've only seen one person cut down a tree so far. But you've only been alive for 5 years. So give it time. Son, excuse me? I've been alive much longer than that. Me, oh yeah? How long have you been alive then? Son, 10,000 years. Me, you know, I actually don't doubt that. He's a treasure. Plot twist. Your son has spent 10,000 years living as blind people. And this is his first reincarnation where he has vision. So, my 7-year-old has always been eccentric. I started keeping a log of some things she says and passing on my phone when she was 3, and there are some good ones I feel apply to this thread. Something smells like chocolate and it's coming from the inside of my mouth. Yeah, well, I can read blank spaces. Chickens have chicken in their bodies. Most of these are responses to her older sister bragging about something she did to excel in school. My 5-year-old does that too. Yesterday she announced my teeth are like back scratches for my tongue. I mean, she's not wrong. But chickens have chicken in their bodies is a true shower thought. While singing to myself, my 2-year-old told me, "Daddy, stop. No singing. You sing wrong. Listen me. My kids do this to me when I start singing sometimes. Dad, stop singing. Makes me feel bad every time." My daughter had a paper from school that she brought home. On the paper it said if I had $1 million I would. And all the kids had to put their answer. My daughter wrote that she would pop out her eyeballs. When I asked her about it later, she explained how she wanted to pop out her eyeballs and replace them with chocolate eyeballs. At least you won't have to worry about paying for college for her.